Hello, and welcome to the Wilson County Schools Opportunity Culture Information Session. We're so glad to know that you're here to learn more about opportunity culture positions here in Wilson County. My name is Erin Mahegan, and I'm a consultant with Public Impact that supports Wilson County with the implementation of opportunity culture. Throughout our process, we create customized plans for each of the schools in Wilson County. Here are the schools that designed with us during the first year of implementation. Some of these schools will have positions available for the upcoming school year. Each school creates, again, a plan that is unique to the student needs and teacher needs of that building. And here are the schools that designed with us this past year. They will also have positions available based on the unique needs of the teachers and students in this building and the plan that they created. Here's an overview of how the structure of this session will flow. So, opportunity culture. Why did Wilson County choose to implement opportunity culture? Number one, we want students to have access to amazing teachers across the board. Regardless of what school they attend, we want to ensure that every single student has access to an amazing educator. And we want to ensure that the teachers educating those amazing students have opportunities to excel in their career. So our goals are to recruit, support, and retain the top teachers. This aligns with Wilson County Schools' long-term strategic plan. Here you can see part of the strategic plan is to focus on the student to ensure that they excel academically and are college and career ready, as well as recruiting, selecting, developing, supporting, promoting, compensating, and retaining effective educators and support personnel. As you know, teachers across North Carolina and across the country face common challenges. Oftentimes, teachers work alone without consistent or relevant support. Excellent teachers have no greater reach than others, so perhaps you are an amazing teacher and want to teach students beyond your classroom doors, but just don't have that opportunity. We know that students lose teachers to district jobs and careers that pay more, and too few students experience excellent teaching consistently. Principals are stretched with many teachers to guide and support, despite their best intentions. Sometimes there's just too many teachers in a building for a principal to effectively support them all. So that's where opportunity culture comes in. We know that when really great teachers have the opportunity to lead small teams, that students gain consistent access to excellent teaching. That great teachers have the opportunity to advance in their career without leaving the classroom. That the teachers on their teams will get daily support from those teacher leaders who know their students best. And principals can now impact their entire staff through their MCLs through distributed leadership. There are 5 key principles that all schools create their opportunity culture plans through. Number 1 is, of course, to reach more students with excellent teachers and their teams. Number 2 is to pay teachers more for extending their reach. We'll share the career ladder with you in just a second. Number 3 is to fund pay within regular budgets. Know that all the opportunity culture positions in Wilson County Schools are paid through existing funding. This is not a grant-funded initiative, so these positions are here to stay. We want to ensure that folks that take on these roles have protected in-school time for planning, collaboration, and development. And lastly, we want to empower people that take on these roles to ensure that they have the authority and accountability to really, truly complete their role. Here are all of the positions available in an opportunity culture. Today, we're going to focus on multi-classroom leaders, reach associates, and team reach teachers, as Wilson County Schools does not yet implement the multi-school leader role. So let's jump in. The cornerstone role is the multi-classroom leader. This is a teacher that has a track record of high growth student learning. And what they would do for their team is to begin leading the lesson planning, data analysis, and all instructional changes for that team. MCL team sizes are no larger than 8 teachers. Our data shows that our MCLs are most effective when they're leading a team a size of 8 or smaller. They observe, get feedback, and coach team teachers. Co-teaching and modeling for their team teachers is huge, just jumping in there and showing them how to conduct a skill or a lesson. Some folks may continue to teach their own class, or they could teach students just through small groups or pushing in. So you may be wondering, how is an MCL any different than an instructional coach or facilitator? Well, we want to start by saying we know that both of these roles are excellent teachers with adult leadership responsibilities, and we know that they both observe and coach teachers. However, facilitators oftentimes work with many teachers, or coaches might work with the entire school, and therefore they have minimal direct interaction with students and minimal direct interaction with every single teacher, because again, we know that they're stretched too thin. And oftentimes, they're not earning any additional money for taking on these roles. A multi-classroom leader is different because they're leading a very specific small teaching team, and they lead fully. They get to set the vision and the goals for their team and help their team to get there. They teach students directly. So MCLs, again, are teaching either their own students or pushing in, co-teaching, modeling, pulling students out in small groups so that those students get access to that amazing teacher as well. And they take formal accountability for all the students on their team. And because they're taking on this extreme leadership role, we want to make sure that they're compensated accordingly. So they earn substantially more pay because they are taking on those greater responsibilities. So as a former MCL myself, let's walk through the day in the life of an MCL. So MCLs will spend time observing and debriefing with their teachers. So they would observe their teachers in action, take notes, and then schedule meetings with them to collaborate and provide them with action steps to help them become even stronger teachers. They're going to lead their team meetings. They would lead lesson planning, data analysis meetings, monitoring, and constantly improving lessons to make sure that they're truly meeting the needs of students. They're providing those in-class supports. So again, I might be going into a classroom and pushing in to a specific targeted group of students or pulling them out into the hall to work with them. I may be modeling a lesson right alongside the teacher in that classroom to ensure that they're receiving those supports. And again, that goes hand in hand with the teaching the students directly. Students would consider the MCL like a second teacher to them. There are 2 types of multi-classroom leaders, and this is determined by the individual needs of the school. We have partial release MCLs and full release MCLs. So partial release MCLs have their own class of record. That means they have their own students assigned to them. So if you are an elementary school teacher, that means you would have your own class. If you're a secondary teacher, that means you would have a few blocks or sections throughout the day. You use a reach associate to provide release time. So for example, during independent practice, I would have a reach associate come into my classroom and monitor my independent practice so I could go out and work with the teachers on my team. Full release MCLs do not have a class of record, so that means all day long they're supporting team teachers. They do not necessarily need a reach associate to provide them with that release time. However, both of them are still held accountable for the results of all the students on their team. There's really exciting research that continues to come out to show the strong impact that MCLs can have on student learning as well as teachers. So let's say a team teacher starts out on average the 50th percentile for reading and math. Research is showing that under an MCL's guidance and leadership, that we're jumping up to the 89th percentile in reading and up to the 85th percentile on math with an average of the 77th percentile. So that's huge learning gains for students, as well as amazing results and really empowering for the teachers on those teams as well. The next position we're going to talk about is the team reach teacher. So this is a position in which a teacher is going to be on an MCL team. So they'd still have that MCL's guidance and support, but they get to teach more students. So this is a great role for those of you that may be interested in, expanding your reach to more students, but not quite there or interested in leading adults. So a team reach teacher's primary role, again, is to teach and reach more students. They would have to collaborate with team teachers or reach associates to make sure that if they do have a larger class, they're creating creative supports to make sure students still get those individual needs. We also have a master team reach teacher, which you can see here. They have an added leadership component. So let's say you have, if you're a teacher and have some leadership experience, but quite not ready to become an MCL, a master team reach teacher position could be a great position to want to lead and those teachers on their team, and something very small, such as just leading a data meeting or just coaching one teacher, as well as reaching more students. And the last position we're going to talk about today is called the Reach Associate. And this is an advanced paraprofessional, an advanced teacher assistant role. And their role is really to support those team reach teachers and multi-classroom leaders. There is amazing research coming out too that shows the impact that reach associates and teacher assistants can have on tutoring. So when they work with small groups of students, you can really move the dial and impact a student in extraordinary ways. So the day in the life of a reach associate, again, they're going to be providing that release time for an MCL or a TRT. So that means, again, when an MCL might need to go visit another teacher's classroom, the reach associate takes over and monitors for that MCL. They would be working with students one-on-one, providing that tutoring or that one-on-one individualized support. They are supporting skills practice and project work. You're monitoring digital learning. They might be assisting with non-instructional duties like monitoring the cafeteria, monitoring recess, and they'll be teaching small groups. They can pull targeted small groups that the MCL assigns to make sure that those students in those groups are receiving that individualized support. So I'm sure many of you are excited to know, what is the career ladder? How much extra money will I make for taking on these roles? So here is the career ladder. So you can see in this row is our core stipend. The Reach Associate would earn teacher assistant pay plus $1,000. Every other position that's a teacher position would earn teacher pay plus this stipend amount. So I would earn my teacher pay, and if I'm a team reach teacher in elementary school, I would earn my teacher pay plus $2,400. Or if I'm a multi-classroom leader, I would earn my teacher pay plus $12,000. Then, depending on the level of Title I, the school that I'm hired into, I would receive an additional Title I stipend. So for example, if I'm at a Tier 1 Title I school, I would earn my $12,000 MCL stipend plus $6,000 plus my teacher base pay. If I'm a Reach Associate, I would earn, and I'm at a Tier 1 school, I would earn my teacher assistant pay, $1,000 stipend plus $1,000 Title I stipend. Again, these can, because they're based on Title I levels, the tiers can adjust as poverty levels adjust at schools each year as well. And for context, here are the different tiers of the schools that we'll be designing next year. So a Reach Associate working at Lucama could earn, again, regular teacher pay plus $1,000 course stipend, and based on Lucama's poverty level, they would earn an additional $250 for a grand total of $1,250 on top of the teacher assistant pay. An MCL at Hearn, I'm going to skip to the bottom. Again, they're in this example, they're a tier 1 Title I school, so that teacher would earn regular teacher pay. They get the $9,000 core stipend and then an additional $6,000 for Title I. So they would get $15,000 on top of their teacher pay. So I hope that all that you've seen so far has you excited. The district talent pool is currently open. So you'll need to go to the website and submit your application. You'd submit your resume, essay responses, evidence of high student growth, and your recent teacher evaluations. The district team will review your application. For those folks that pass that initial screener, they would be invited to a BEI interview. And again, we've extended the deadlines for this so that the application is still open and available. Once you pass the BEI screener, then you would be eligible to be interviewed by principals. And then principals will have a separate selection process. So again, we've extended the deadlines for this district selection process. So first step, you need to submit your application. If you pass that, you'll be invited to the BEIs. So principals will then review applicants that have been accepted into the pool and invite them to in-person interviews. Then those candidates would participate in a skills demonstration. They might do a sample coaching conversation or data analysis. And then the principal would submit that person's name to HR if they are a good fit for the school. So once you're hired, then this summer you'll attend 3 days of virtual training. So no worries, there are sessions in both June and July. Throughout next year, you would attend school year professional learning, and you would also receive support from your administrators, from either your principal or your assistant principal throughout next school year. We really want to see you become successful in this role, so you'll have lots of support. Again, I hope what you've heard has got you really excited and interested. You can learn more at leadwithwcs.net. You're highly encouraged to reach out, send an email. Please do submit your application. We're really excited and eager to learn more about you and the qualifications that you have. Any questions at all, please don't hesitate to email oc@wilsonschoolsnc.net. We would love to know what questions you have. Again, please utilize that website and that email address to send any questions that you may have. I'm happy to answer those for you. My name is Erin Mahegan, and thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to reviewing your application.